Story 1. The Choir of Cane Street. I've always loved the quiet. Small towns, empty streets, the way silence wraps around you like a warm coat in winter. Last summer, I retired from teaching in Millhaven, Maine, 2025, a sagging mill town of clapboard houses and shuttered storefronts, nestled against a river that smelled of pulp and pine. The job had been my life. 30 years molding kids at Millhaven Middle, now swapped for a pension and a house on Oak Street, a gray 2-story with a porch that creaked under my weight. The place was simple. Peeling paint, a den with a sagging couch, a kitchen where the fridge hummed too loud, a window facing the backyard where maples dropped red leaves in the fall. I settled in fast, unpacked my books, hung a photo of my late wife, Ellen, fell into a rhythm of slow mornings and quieter nights, the town my refuge after decades of chalk and noise. Days were easy. Reading Poe, tending a garden that barely grew, chatting with neighbors. Nights were still, just the tick of the clock and the wind rattling the eaves. Millhaven was fading. Mills closed, kids leaving, old folks clinging to porches. But by August, the stillness deepened, leaving me alone with my thoughts. A peace I'd earned. One night, I was sipping tea in the den, book open, fire crackling, when I heard it, faint singing, high and sweet, drifting from somewhere down the street, cutting through the dark. I stepped to the window, saw nothing, just shadows and streetlights, traced it to Cane Street, 2 blocks over, where the old church stood, abandoned since the 90s, its steeple a crooked finger against the sky. Kids? I muttered, kept it low, hand on the glass. Thought it was teens messing around. But the sound swelled, pure, unearthly, tugging at my chest like a lullaby I'd forgotten. Next night, it came again, louder, clearer. Grabbed my coat, shuffled, out, followed it to the church, boards loose, windows cracked, hymn floating soft from within. No lights, no kids, just song. Peeked in, darkness thick, pews rotting, saw shapes, vague, swaying, voices rising. Too perfect, too old. My breath fogging the glass, heart thudding slow and heavy. Went home, locked the door, hands trembling. Told myself it was wind, memory. But the singing lingered, curling in my ears, pulling me back in dreams I couldn't shake. Next morning I checked, asked Mrs. Perry next door, gray and nosy. She frowned, heard nothing, said the church was cursed since Pastor Gray vanished in '92. Kids steering clear ever since. Days passed, singing nightly, closer. Caught my grandson, Timmy, 8, visiting from Bangor, humming it at breakfast, eyes glazed, saying he liked the pretty voices calling him. Night fell, woke at 2 a.m., bed empty, found Timmy's shoes gone, window open, singing loud from Cane Street, his small prints trailing out into the frost. Ran, coat flapping, flashlight shaking, hit the church, door ajar, hymn swelling, Timmy inside, standing still, facing shadows that sang, eyeless, pale, mouths wide and black. "Timmy," I yelled, voice cracking, beam sweeping, grabbed him, cold, limp. He turned, smiled. "They want me to join," him drowning my pleas, pulling him back, dragged him out. Church slammed shut, singing cut. Got him home, locked us in, his eyes, distant, humming low, my hands raw from gripping him, fear sinking deep. Next day, he was gone, bed cold, window latched. Called my daughter, got screams, searched, found his jacket by the church, torn, hymnals scattered, ink wet, pages blank but moving. Sheriff came, Burke, tired, skeptical, swept the church, found nothing, said, "Run away." But I saw glyphs in the dust, my name scratched faint, red at the edges. Nights blurred, singing, constant, louder. Found marks on my arms, thin, black, waking with hymnals in my bed. Open, ink bleeding my name. No memory of leaving the house. Called the pastor. Old Father Dunn, retired. Met him, shaky, at the diner. Showed the hymnal. He paled, whispered of a choir, not God's. Tied to Gray's last sermon. Kids lost then too. Back home, house trashed, couch ripped. Found a hymnal on the table, not mine. Pages filled with glyphs, wet with something dark. Timmy's name in every line, crossed out, mine below. Night came, singing outside, shaking the walls. Heard it, Timmy's voice warped, pleading, "Sing with us." Him splitting my skull, drowning my screams. Another kid gone, little Jenny Cole, found her bike by my fence, bent, burned, her name scratched out, mine carved in the chain, jagged, dripping red at the edges. I fought it, stayed in, lights blazing, woke with my shoes on, standing at the church, marks spreading, no memory of walking, singing, deafening, now pulling me in, fled, 30 miles Newtown, checked a motel, cash down, room dim, thought I'd escaped, but the singing followed, rattling the walls, hymnals glowing through the dark. Next night, it spoke. Timmy's voice, not his, through the floor, "You're the last." Boards bent, glyphs crawling up, marks pulsing bright, mirror showing me, eyeless, singing. Family kept vanishing. Called my daughter, got silence. Found her scarf in my sink, frayed. Her name gone, mine stitched in its place. Thread warm to the touch. I burned the hymnals. Fire flared, glyphs glowed. Church loomed in my mind, light flooding, marks searing, pulling me toward it. Voices splitting. My skull fought back, ran, car screaming, hit a gas station. 50 miles out, hid. But the singing tracked me. Lights flickering, workers staring, their mouths moving, eyeless, hymning low. Next dawn, woke in the yard, parked at the house, door open. Church there, across the street, singing loud glyphs, circling my marks, shadows swaying inside. Shadows pulsed, high, alive, heard it. Timmy's voice. One more voice, town's faces in the windows, eyeless, reaching, hands pulling from the hymn, dragging me to the pews. Cops came, called it grief, locked me up, cell cold. But the singing stayed, hymnals outside the bars, pages rewritten, my name in every verse, marks spreading fast. They let me out, eval, breakdown, moved south, 100 miles, new place. But last night the church hit my street, singing shaking the floor, voices in my ears. Miss us? Hymnal under my door, glyphs wet, red. I hear them now, circling my house, my name chanting, promising the choir, promising no silence. They say it's over. Docs show me files, but I see those shapes in every shadow, hear that hymn in every gust, feel those marks crawling up my throat. I don't sleep, keep the lights on, hands clenched, doors locked. But the hymnals keep coming, one every night, each one darker, hungrier, heavier. Last note, that's the latest. Left last night. Page pinned with a nail, dripping red at the edges, staining my floor, singing, tapping outside. I've got a shotgun now, loaded by the couch. But the hymn doesn't stop, the choir waits, and I know it's out there, calling me back to Kane Street to finish what I heard. Story 2. The Pumpkin Man of Route 9. I've always lived on the road, highways, rigs, the hum of tires on asphalt. It's where I breathe easiest, where the world can't pin me down. Last fall, I was hauling freight through western Kentucky, 2025, a stretch of 2 lanes and hollows, took a gig running tobacco loads, living in a cab-over parked at a truck stop off Route 9, surrounded by fields that glowed orange with pumpkins come October. The job was steady, long hauls, tight deadlines, decent pay. My rig a battered Peterbilt, sleeper bunk with a stained mattress, a dash cluttered with coffee cups, a window facing the lot where rigs idled under sodium lights. I settled in quick, unpacked my thermos, taped a photo of my ex. Dana fell into a rhythm of dusk to dawn runs and catnaps. The road my home after years of drifting. Days were routine. Loading crates, dodging deer, chain-smoking camels. Nights were quiet, just the rumble of engines and the chirp of crickets beyond the blacktop. Route 9 was lonely. Farmhouses sagging. Gas stations flickering, the occasional pickup rattling. But by late September, the traffic thinned, leaving me alone with the asphalt, a freedom I'd chased. One night, I was rolling back from Paducah, headlights cutting fog, radio static, when I saw him, thumb out by a pumpkin patch, gaunt, tall, coat ragged, grinning wide under a hat that shadowed his eyes. I slowed, cab creaking, gut twitching, figured he was a drifter, harmless, cold. So I popped the door, waved him in, the air sharp with rot as he climbed up, silent but heavy. Headed east? I asked. Kept it light, hand on the wheel. Glanced over, saw his grin stretch, carved pumpkin-like, teeth jagged, smelling of wet earth and decay. No answer, just a nod. Dropped him 10 miles on, near a crossroads, no lights. He stepped out, tipped his hat. "See you round?" Voice low, dry, like leaves crunching underfoot. Grin glinting in my taillights. Next run I forgot. Miles blurring. Coffee bitter. But at the stop, found it. A pumpkin. Small, rotting. Wedged in my bunk, whispering my name. Soft, when I turned out the light. Night fell. Rolled again. Route 9 dark. Heard it. A tap, rhythmic, on the cab. Saw pumpkins lining the ditch. Hollow eyes glowing. His laugh drifting through the fog, faint and sharp. Slammed the brakes. Rig shuddering, beam sweeping. Nothing but vines, twisting. Alive. My thermos tipped, spilling coffee that stank of rot, whispering Danny in my voice, warped. Next morning I checked. Asked old Roy at the stop, grizzled, chewing dip. He squinted, said Route 9's patch. Takes folks. A scarecrow gone since '03. Kids missing every harvest since. Days passed. Pumpkins grew. Nightly. Bigger. Found one in my toolbox. Split. Oozing. My ex's name scratched in the rind. Waking with dirt on my hands. No memory of digging. Night came. Rolled out. Fog thick. Saw him. Taller. Coat flapping. Standing in the patch. Arms long, hollow, waving slow. Pumpkins rolling onto the road, blocking my tires. Swerved, rig fishtailing, heart pounding. Heard it. His voice. Road's mine. Cab shaking. Mirrors cracking, reflecting him. Closer. Grin splitting wider. Eyes black pits staring back. Got back. Stop empty. Roy gone. Found his cap in my bunk. Mashed, burned. Pumpkin guts inside. His name scratched out. Mine carved in. Deep. Wet at the edges. Nights blurred. Pumpkins constant, heavier. Found vines in my rig. Curling. Alive. Waking with my boots on. Parked by the patch. No memory of driving. His laugh loud now. Called dispatch. Frank. Gruff. Tired. Met him. Shaky. At a diner. Showed the pumpkin. He paled. Muttered of a driver lost in '04. Rig found rotting. Patched with vines. Never seen again. Back to the cab. Rig trashed. Seat slashed. Found a gourd on the dash. Not mine. Carved with glyphs. Dripping rot. My name in every groove. Growing as I watched. Night hit. Patch outside. Shaking the lot. Heard it. His voice. Warped. Scarecrows do. Laugh splitting my skull. Drowning my yells. pumpkins thudding against the cab. Another gone. Jimmy, young hauler, found his logbook by my rig, soaked, burned, his name. Scratched out, mine etched in the spine, jagged, dripping orange at the edges. I fought it, stayed in, lights blazing. Woke with my keys in hand, standing in the patch, vines binding my legs. No memory of leaving. His shadow towering, hollow. Now, fled. 40 miles, new stop, checked a motel. Cash down, room stale, thought I'd outrun it. But the rot followed, walls creaking, pumpkins glowing through the blinds. Next night, he spoke. My voice, not mine, through the vents. You're ripe. Floorboards split, vines crawling up, dirt on my arms, mirror showing me, hollow, grinning back. Friends kept vanishing. Called Frank, got silence. Found his lighter in my sink, melted, his name gone. Mine scratched in its place, metal hot to the touch. I burned the pumpkins. Fire flared, vines screamed. Patch loomed in my mind, rot flooding. Vines searing, pulling me toward it. His laugh splitting my skull. Fought back, ran, rig screaming. Hit a bar, 60 miles out. Hid. But the rot tracked me, lights dimming. Drinkers staring, their faces carved, hollow, grinning low. Next dawn, woke in the cab, parked at Route 9, patch open. Pumpkins there, rolling, glyphs circling my hands. His figure rising, taller, vines spilling from his coat. Figure loomed, high, alive. Heard it, my voice. One more post, stops faces in the vines, hollow, reaching, hands pulling from the rot, dragging me to the field. Cops came, called it booze, locked me up, cell cold, but the rot stayed, pumpkins outside the bee. Bars, logs rewritten, my name in every seed, vines spreading fast. They let me out, eval, stress, moved north, 120 miles, new rig. But last night, the patch hit my lot, laugh shaking the cab, vines in my ears. Miss me? Gourd under my bunk, glyphs wet, orange. I hear him now, circling my rig. My name whispering, promising the road, promising no end. They say it's done. Cops show me files. But I see that grin in every shadow, hear that laugh in every gust, feel those vines crawling up my legs. I don't sleep. Keep the lights on. Hands clenched, cab locked. But the pumpkins keep coming, one every night, each one darker, hungrier, heavier. Last crop, that's the latest, left last night. Rind pinned with a thorn, dripping rot at the edges, staining my bunk, vines, tapping outside. I've got a shotgun now, loaded by the seat. But the laugh doesn't stop. The patch waits, and I know he's out there, calling me back to Route 9 to finish what I picked up. Story 3, The Dollhouse on Birch Lane. I've always scraped by. Odd jobs, tight budgets, the kind of life where you count pennies and pray the car starts. Last summer I moved to Eden Falls, upstate New York, 2025. A tired town of brick homes and weedy lots. Took a waitressing gig at a diner, living in a rental on Birch Lane with my daughter Lily, 6 and bright as a spark. The house was cheap, sagging floors, a cramped living room, a kitchen with a leaky sink, a window facing the street where kids rode bikes past overgrown yards. I settled in fast, unpacked our boxes, hung Lily's drawings, fell into a rhythm of early shifts and late nights. The town a fresh start after a divorce that left me raw. Days were long, serving coffee, dodging grabby truckers, counting tips. Nights were hours, just Lily's giggles and the hum of a TV we'd scored secondhand. Eden Falls was quiet, factory, closed, folks scraping by, the occasional flea market. But by July, the bustle slowed, leaving me alone with Lily, a small world I'd built. One Saturday, I hit a garage sale, down Birch Lane, tables of junk, spotted it, a dollhouse, wood, chipped paint, a mini version of our place, $2, perfect for Lily's birthday. I hauled it home, set it in her room, grinning. Lily clapped, "It's us." Peering in, tiny rooms matching ours, even a little table like the one we ate mac and cheese at. "Neat find," I said. Kept it light, hand on her hair. Thought it was a steal, a toy to keep her busy. But the wood felt warm, heavier than it looked, odd under my fingers. Next night I tucked her in, dollhouse by her bed. Heard it, a creak, faint from inside. Saw figures, small, moving slow, shadows shifting when I blinked, gone when I looked again. Woke at 3 a.m. Lily whispering. Peeked. In. Saw her staring. They're eating, pointing at the dollhouse. Mini-me and mini-her at the table, chewing, silent, too real. "Dreams, kiddo," I muttered. Locked her door, heart thumping. Checked it, empty now, figures still, but the air buzzed. My reflection in its windows warped, stretched thin. Next day, I watched, asked Mrs. Cole across the street, nosy, knitting. She frowned, said the sale was old man Reese's, dead a year. His stuff wrong since his wife vanished in '09. Days passed, creaks nightly, louder, caught Lily giggling. They're upstairs, dollhouse showing us in her room, watching, my tiny self holding a knife I didn't own. Night fell, woke to screams. Lily gone. Found her bed empty, dollhouse open, her figure missing. Mine standing in the kitchen, knife up, blood on its hands, wet and red. Ran, house dark, flashlight shaking, checked the kitchen, sink dripping, saw it, a smear, fresh, on the counter. Lily's voice, soft. "Mommy, hide." From the dollhouse, not her. Found her, curled in the closet, cold. Got her out, locked us in my room, her eyes wide. They want us back. Dollhouse humming low. Figures moving again, faster now. Next day, I smashed. It, hammer swinging, wood splintering, pieces scattered. But by noon, it stood whole in her room. Figures grinning, Lily's voice echoing, "Don't break us." Sheriff came. Hank, paunchy, bored. Swept the house. Found nothing. Said stress. But I saw scratches on the floor. My name faint, red at the edges, trailing to the dollhouse. Nights blurred, creaks constant, closer. Found cuts on my arms, thin, waking with the hammer in hand. Dollhouse rebuilt, figures holding it, no memory of touching it. Called the priest, Father Klein, old, shaky, met him, frantic, at the church. Showed the dollhouse, he paled, whispered of a family trapped, Reese's last project, kids, lost then too. Back home, house trashed, TV smashed, found a figure on the table, not mine, carved with glyphs, wet with something dark, Lily's name in every line, mine below, growing. Night hit, dollhouse outside, shaking the porch. Heard it, Lily's voice warped. "Come home." Creaks splitting my skull, drowning my yells, figures tapping the glass. Another kid gone. Tommy Bray, found his ball by my steps, dented, burned, his name scratched out. Mine carved in the rubber, jagged dripping red at the edges. I fought it, stayed up, lights blazing, woke with my shoes on, standing by the dollhouse, cuts spreading, no memory of moving, its hum deafening now, pulling me in. Fled, 20 miles. Newtown, checked a motel, cash down, room dim, thought I'd escaped. But the creaks followed, walls buzzing, dollhouse glowing through the dark. Next night, it spoke. Lily's voice, not hers, through the sink. We're waiting. Pipes bent, glyphs crawling up, cuts pulsing bright, mirror showing me, carved, grinning back. Family kept vanishing. Called my sister, got silence. Found her locket in my bag, melted, her name gone, mine etched in its place, metal warm to the touch. I burned the dollhouse. Fire. flared. Glyphs glowed. Pieces loomed in my mind. Light flooding, cuts searing, pulling me toward it. Voices splitting my skull. Fought back, ran, car screaming. Hit a diner, 40 miles out, hid. But the creaks tracked me, lights flickering, servers staring, their hands small, wooden, eyeless. Next dawn, woke in the house, parked on Birch Lane, door open, dollhouse there. In the living room, humming loud, glyphs circling my cuts, figures swaying inside. Figures pulsed, small, alive. Heard it, Lily's voice. One more room. Town's faces in the windows, eyeless, reaching, hands pulling from the wood, dragging me to the stairs. Cops came, called it exhaustion, locked me up. Cell cold, but the creaks stayed. Dollhouse outside the bars, rebuilt, my name in every splinter, cuts spreading fast. They let me out. Eval, hysteria, moved north. 80 miles, new place, but last night the dollhouse hit my porch, hum shaking the floor, voices in my ears. Miss us? Figure under my door, glyphs wet, red. I hear them now, circling my house, my name whispering, promising the family, promising no escape. They say it's over. Docs show me charts, but I see those shapes in every shadow. Hear that hum in every gust, feel those cuts crawling up my chest. I don't sleep, keep the lights on, hands clenched, doors locked. But the pieces keep coming, one every night, each one darker, hungrier, heavier. Last home, that's the latest. Left last night, wood pinned with a nail, dripping red at the edges, staining my floor. Creaks, tapping outside. I've got a shotgun now, loaded by the bed. But the hum doesn't stop. The dollhouse waits, and I know it's out there, calling me back to Birch Lane to finish what I bought. Story 4. The well at Widow's End. I've always been a dirt under the nails guy. Fields, tractors, the smell of earth after rain. It's where I belong, where I can keep my head straight. Last spring, I inherited a farm in central Iowa, 2025. A patch of flatland off a gravel road, took over after my uncle passed, living in his old house near a place called Widow's End, surrounded by corn that swayed gold in the wind. The gig was tough. Planting rows, fixing fences, hauling grain, my house a weathered box, cedar siding, a kitchen with a rusty stove, a window facing the back 40 where an old well sat, dry, and capped since I was a kid. I settled in quick, unpacked my tools, hung a photo of Uncle Cal, fell into a rhythm of dawn starts and dusk finishes. The farm, my anchor after years bouncing between jobs. Days were grueling, tilling soil, dodging. Storms checking crops, nights were still. Just the groan of the house and the buzz of cicadas beyond the fields. Widow's End was remote. Neighbors miles off, grain trucks rumbling, the occasional combine humming. But by June the bustle faded, leaving me alone with the land, a quiet I'd needed. One afternoon I was checking the fence, wire cutters clinking, sweat stinging, when I heard it, a splash, faint, wet, from the well, 50 yards back, capped tight under a slab of cracked concrete. I trudged over, saw it, dry, as bone, weeds choking the rim, listened, heard it again, water sloshing deep, impossible, a ripple echoing up, cold against the heat. Drought's playing tricks, I muttered, kept it low, hand on the cap. Thought it was pipes, an echo. But the sound grew, steady, like something stirring below, calling soft. Next day, I rigged a bucket, rope frayed, curiosity itching, dropped it, heard a clank, pulled it up, water, dark, and a shoe, small, soaked, blood crusted on the laces, a kid's size. Dropped it, bucket thudding, hands shaking, checked the house, locked up, saw it in the sink, wet, Prints tiny circling the drain, my name whispered low from the pipes. Night fell. Couldn't sleep, splashing louder. Stepped outside. Heard it. A voice. Young. Help me. From the well, my flashlight beam catching ripples in the dark, moving wrong. Ran inside. Bolted. The door, breath ragged. Checked the shoe. Gone. But the well hummed. Low. My shadow stretching long on the wall, wet at the edges, not mine. Next morning, I asked, hit old man Tate down the road, grizzled, sipping whiskey. He squinted, said the well took kids in the 80s. Widow's End cursed since a girl drowned there in 62. Days passed, splashing nightly, closer, caught my niece, Ellie, 10, visiting, staring out back. It's singing. Eyes glazed, pointing at the well, humming a tune I didn't know. Night came, woke at midnight, bed empty, found Ellie's slippers gone, window open, splashing loud from the well, her small prints trailing out into the mud. Ran, boots slipping, beam shaking, hit the well, cap off, water gleaming, Ellie inside, sinking slow, facing shadows that reached, eyeless, pale, hands wet and black. Ellie. I yelled, voice breaking, rope swinging, grabbed her, cold, heavy. She turned, smiled. They need me down there. Water pulling her back, splashing my face. Dragged her out, well slammed shut, splashing cut. Got her home, locked us in, her eyes distant, humming low. My arms raw from the pull, dread sinking deep. Next day she was gone, bed cold, door latched. Called my sister, got screams, searched, found her doll by the well, soaked, well whispering my name now, louder each night. Sheriff came, Dale, lean, skeptical, swept the field, found nothing, said run away. But I saw scratches on the cap. My name faint, red at the edges, trailing down the stone. Nights blurred, splashing constant, heavier. Found wet marks on my legs, thin, waking with mud in my boots. Well open, water spilling over, no memory of walking. Called the preacher, Reverend. Holt, old, hoarse. Met him, frantic, at the church, showed the doll. He paled, muttered of a hole that keeps. Kids lost there before Cal capped it. Back home, house trashed, stove dented. Found a bucket on the porch, not mine, filled. With dark water, my name scratched in the rust, growing as I watched, dripping wet. Night hit, well outside, shaking the ground. Heard it, Ellie's voice, warped. Climbed down, splashing. Splitting my skull, drowning my yells, water seeping under the door. Another. Kid gone, Billy Tate. Found his bike by my fence, twisted, burned, his name scratched out, mine carved in the frame, jagged, dripping red at the edges. I fought it, stayed in, lights blazing. Woke with my hands wet, standing by the well, marks spreading, no memory of moving. Its hum deafening now, pulling me closer. Fled, 30 miles, new town. Checked a motel. Cash down, room dim, thought I'd escaped. But the splashing followed, pipes groaning, water pooling through the dark. Next night, it spoke. Ellie's voice, not hers, through the drain. You're next. Tiles cracked, water crawling up, marks pulsing bright, mirror showing me, eyeless, sinking. Family kept vanishing. Called my sister, got silence, found. Her ring in my sink, melted. Her name gone. Mine etched in its place, metal cold to the touch. I burned the doll. Fire flared, water hissed, well loomed in my mind. Dark flooding, marks searing, pulling me toward it. Voices splitting my skull. Fought, back, ran. Truck screaming. Hit a bar 50 miles out, hid. But the splashing tracked me. Lights flickering, drinkers staring. Their hands wet, eyeless, reaching slow. Next dawn, woke in the yard, parked at Widow's End, gate open. Well there, spilling, water circling my legs, shadows swaying below, humming my name loud. Shadows pulsed, deep, alive. Heard it, Ellie's voice. One more dip, town's faces in the water, eyeless, reaching, hands pulling from the dark, dragging me to the edge. Cops came, called it grief, locked me up, cell damp, but the splashing stayed. Water, outside the bars, doll in my bunk, my name in every stitch, mark spreading fast. They let me out. Evol, delusion, moved west. 100 miles, new place. But last night, the well hit my yard, hum shaking the floor, water in my ears. Miss, me? Bucket under my door, water wet, red. I hear them now, circling my house, my name splashing, promising the deep, promising no return. They say it's over. Docs show me files. But I see those shapes in every puddle, hear that splash in every gust, feel those marks crawling up my chest. I don't sleep, keep the lights on, hands clenched, doors locked, but the water keeps coming, one every night, each one darker, hungrier, heavier. Last drop, that's the latest, left last night, rope pinned with a hook, dripping red at the edges, staining my floor, splashing, tapping outside. I've got a shotgun now, loaded by the bed. But the hum doesn't stop. The well waits. And I know it's out there, calling me back to Widow's End, to finish what I pulled up.